think and break me.
Hi, I'm Emma. Welcome back if you've been here before, and if you're brand new then thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you'd like to stick around and join us in all of our adventures. You can do that by hitting the little subscribe button, it's just down there. If you do hit the subscribe button, then please make sure to turn on the notification bell as well, and then you'll be notified every single time that we post. So this is kind of a little bit different. I've done a book review before for this channel. I recorded Poor Unfortunate Souls, so I'll leave that this side or this side? This side. So you can click on that and see what I thought. This is another one in that series, so it is the Reflection, A Twisted Tale. It's like the Disney version, so it does say Disney on there, and it's a really pretty cover. Yeah, but this one is by Elizabeth Lim. So while we've been in quarantine and lockdown and everything, I hardly picked up a book, and then the last month or so I've picked up 3 books. I think in the last month, maybe 3 weeks, I've read 3 books, so I'm properly back into my reading, which is great. And I picked up this book and I thought it would be perfect to review because it is a Disney book, and everybody seemed to love the Poor Unfortunate Souls one that I did a while ago now, and this is kind of in the same series, so I will give my thoughts on it. I do want to preface this by saying my opinion doesn't seem to be the same as everybody else's opinion. So if you've read this and you've really liked it, I'm not bashing on your opinion in any way, it wasn't for me. So I guess now that the cat's out of the bag and you know what I thought, let's just get into it. So on Goodreads, this book has received, it's around 4 stars, which is pretty good for Goodreads. I actually gave it 2 stars, and I guess we'll just go into the reasons why, but I wanted to start by talking about the characters. So you've got Mulan, you've got her entire like gang in the army, you've got the Captain Shang, there's some new characters as well. So there's the King of the Underworld, there's Shishi, who is the Captain's guardian, and then there's a whole bunch of ghosties and demons and other fun characters that you meet down in the underworld. And for me, this was my favourite bit. Mulan has never really been like a princess that I've really connected with, but I was excited to read this story because I didn't really like the animation and I wasn't massively keen on the live action, but I thought maybe in book version I'll like Mulan. So, I mean, for me she was a bit bland in the book. I guess maybe because I already know her character. I already know what she's like, and I already know, you know, what her mission is, I guess. So I didn't really like Mulan. I did enjoy reading about the captain a little bit more, finding out about his family and stuff like that, because I didn't really know much about the captain, and it was nice to see like a different side to him. So I did enjoy him. But then the other characters, like the additional characters, like Shishi, I didn't really like. He's a fun character, he's a guardian, like Mushu is a guardian. Mushu was obviously in the story, but Shishi is a guardian just like Mushu, and I just didn't like him as much as Mushu. Like, he's interesting, but I just don't think he really added much to the story at all. And then there's the King of the Underworld, who I did like, but he wasn't really in the book, so, you know. I did think this was going to be a really interesting read because I liked the idea that you're going into the underworld, and, you know, in my head, I guess because it's Disney, and I thought, oh, maybe and like some of the other books, they've kind of combined the stories before. So there was Ursula in Sleeping Beauty's story, I think, and also some witches in the Beauty and the Beast story. So I thought, and I was wrong in thinking, that Hades might be in charge of the underworld like he is in Hercules, but I was wrong. So you get King Yama, I think I'm pronouncing that wrong, but King Yama is in charge of the underworld, and he's a very busy man, and Captain Shang gets hurt, like really hurt. He's gonna die, and he is trying to protect Mulan, so Mulan feels guilty, and then when she is given the opportunity to go down into the underworld and bring the captain back, she obviously takes the opportunity, takes the chance. She goes with Shishi into the underworld and tries to save the captain. So she has to find the captain first. That's what the story is. She has to go and find him in the underworld, which isn't easy. This is where the book fell really short, because they could have made it, I don't know, a really epic kind of journey, and there could have been so many like obstacles and challenges and things she had to do, but that's not really what happened. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, because I think if you like Mulan and you have the book, or if you like Mulan and you want to read it, you should. But because other people have really enjoyed it, but for me the challenges in the rooms, they were just kind of bland and boring. Like the first room she went into, that was interesting, but then it was really repetitive. They just didn't really do anything, and it just seemed a little bit like everybody was surprised that she was there, and she was Ping at the time. Obviously they hadn't discovered that she was Mulan yet, but they're supposed to know, like, her ancestors didn't recognize her as not one of their ancestors, like one of their relations, which confused me a little bit. And you know, she was getting help, but it just, some bits didn't make sense, and then the bits that did make sense for me were just a little bit bland. Now I think this could be because I don't really connect with the Mulan story that much. Like, she's not one of my favourite characters anyway. I do think the story is great, but it just doesn't click for me, and I think that might have been a starting point to why this book was kind of not going to be a winner. And I've liked about 50% of the ones that I've read of the Twisted Tales. So they always start with a story. That this one says, what if Mulan had to travel to the underworld, which is obviously really intriguing. I just think there's so many things you could do to make the underworld more exciting than it is in this book. Yeah, I just, like, we spend a while talking about rocks and caves, and there's a little bit of talk about like the door handles and the knockers, and there's lots of levels to the underworld, and she has to kind of work her way back up. And I don't know, I just think, like I said 7 times, I just think it could have been more exciting. The ending was also quite disappointing. You've worked all the way through this journey with Mulan and the captain and Shi, and then it kind of ends, and then that's just the ending, and that's it. Like, it's exactly what you would expect to happen, and there's no twist at the end. There's nothing really like, oh, and it all came together. No, that's not what happens. It just ends, and that is it. And that's really, really disappointing. So I just think that if it's going to be a boring book, then you should at least have a fun ending. So the book itself is 404 pages, and it is a fairly speedy read. I mean, the writing is fairly big, so it was pretty fast to read, and I don't regret reading it. I'm glad I read it, because otherwise I wouldn't have known whether I liked it or not. But it's not one of my favourites. In fact, it's probably the lowest rated book that I've, like, the lowest star rating I've given this year. I do think the covers for these books are so pretty, and like the smoke on the patterns, I think that's really, really pretty too. But often these books, the Twisted Tale books, are on offer in like Tesco's or Asda or something like that. So if you can find it in Tesco or Asda for like 2 for £7 or whatever it is, then I would say, yeah, pick it up, give it a read. I also think maybe it's a bit too complicated for younger readers, but not interested enough for older readers. I'm just not really sure who this is aimed at, but obviously I'm in the minority here because people enjoyed it. But yeah, let me know if you've read this book and what you thought of it, or if you're interested in picking it up despite what I've said, because I don't want to put anybody off reading anything, and I understand that everybody has different tastes, which is why I've tried to kind of not push mine so much. I just think it's important that, you know, people give their opinion if they have one, and mine is different to everybody else's, which is kind of typical anyway. But yeah, I enjoyed this one. No, I didn't. Well, yeah, I didn't enjoy this one, but it doesn't mean that I won't pick up another Twisted Tale. If you've enjoyed this video, then let me know down in the comments below as well, because I've been really interested in doing more book reviews, but I don't think they necessarily fit in here. So I'm not sure whether we'll like start another channel and have that kind of book related. But let me know what you think down in the comments. if you like reading and if you would watch book related videos or not. But if you've liked this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye.